at the town's only bookstore, a charming little shop that smelled of old pages, lavender tea, and the quiet magic of forgotten stories. Alara loved the stillness of her life. Every morning, she opened the shop at 8 a.m., arranged the books, brewed a cup of rose tea, and spent her day surrounded by words that once belonged to dreamers. But even in the comfort of her routines, her heart longed for something more, something that no book had yet given her, a love that felt like home. One rainy afternoon, as she was closing the shop early, a stranger stumbled in, drenched, breathless, and holding a worn leather journal. His name was Selim, a traveling writer. He'd gotten lost while hiking through the woods, drawn to the bookstore by the golden glow of its windows. Alara offered him a towel and tea. He stayed for hours, telling her stories of the places he'd seen, mountains that kissed the clouds, deserts painted in gold at sunrise, villages where strangers became family. And when he finally left that night, he forgot his journal on the counter. Inside were pages filled with his thoughts, sketches, and poems. One line caught Alara's breath. I dream of a place where silence speaks louder than words, and where a girl with stars in her eyes waits for me. The next morning, Selim returned, apologizing for the journal. But Alara had already read enough to know that something inside her had changed. Over the weeks that followed, he kept coming back, to borrow books, to share stories, to sit by her side in the silence. They would walk beneath the willows near the river, where the moonlight made the water glow like glass. It was there, beneath the soft shimmer of the willow moon, that he finally said, I never believed in staying. But if staying means being with you, I want to believe. Their love was not a whirlwind, but a slow-burning fire. Selim stayed in the town, writing by day and helping Alara at the shop. Together, they created a section in the store for his stories, a corner called the Willow Shelf. Locals came, read, and stayed, just like him. Years passed. Seasons changed. But the love between Alara and Selim only grew deeper. They grew old beneath the same willow trees where they first held hands, the same bookstore where everything began. And every night, when the moonlight touched the river, they would sit side by side, hearts full of words, wrapped in a silence that only two soulmates could understand. Whispers of the old piano. In a quiet corner of Paris, nestled between a quaint flower shop and a forgotten bookstore, stood a small music cafe called Le Coeur en Notes, the Heart and Notes. It was the kind of place where time seemed to slow down, and music whispered secrets to those who were patient enough to listen. The cafe was owned by Elise Martin, a pianist who once graced the stages of grand concert halls but now preferred the company of quiet mornings, warm coffee, and the aged piano in the corner of her cafe. Elise lived a simple life, and that suited her. She spent her mornings tuning the piano, her afternoons baking lemon tarts, and her evenings playing soft melodies for whoever wandered in. But she always played alone, until one rainy Thursday. That day, the rain came down in silver sheets, and the bell above the cafe door chimed as a tall man stepped inside, shaking the water from his coat. His name was Adrien Moreau, a novelist known for writing stories that made people cry in public. He was searching for a quiet place to write. What he didn't expect was to find inspiration not in words, but in music, and in Elise. Their first conversation was awkward. He complimented her playing. She replied with a polite smile. He stayed the whole evening, writing by candlelight while Elise played Chopin. The next day, he returned. And the day after. Soon, Adrien became a fixture at Le Coeur en Notes, always sitting at the same table by the window, always listening. One night, after the cafe had closed and the world outside was hushed with snow, Elise offered Adrien a cup of tea. They talked about music, about books, about the kind of love that makes your chest ache. When Elise mentioned she hadn't played for anyone she cared about in years, Adrien simply said, "Then play for me." So she did. Night after night, Elise played. Not just Chopin or Debussy, but songs she composed herself. Melodies that carried the weight of years and dreams. Adrien listened, writing stories inspired by her music. He called them the Elise Letters, a series of love letters written by a man who had never dared to love, until now. As spring bloomed and the cafe grew busier, their connection deepened. They walked along the Seine, exchanged glances filled with unspoken longing, and shared laughter under cherry blossoms. But Elise was still afraid. She had loved before, once, recklessly, and it ended in heartbreak that silenced her music for 5 long years. Adrien understood. He, too, had lost someone once. But he believed in second chances. "I don't want to be another song you're afraid to play," he told her one evening. "You're not a song," she whispered. "You're the silence I didn't know I needed." It wasn't a grand confession, but it was enough. That summer, Elise and Adrien turned Le Coeur notes into something magical. Every Friday night, they held performances, her on the piano, him reading stories inspired by her music. People came from all over to witness the way their love unfolded in notes and words. Years passed. The cafe remained, weathered but warm. Elise and Adrien grew older, but never apart. He wrote until his hands could no longer hold a pen, she played until her fingers trembled with age. And every evening, they sat side by side, the piano between them, hearts full of music and memories. When Adrien passed away one quiet winter, Elise didn't cry in front of anyone. But the next day, she walked into the cafe, sat at the piano, and played the most hauntingly beautiful melody she had ever composed. She called it Adrien's Waltz, a song for the man who reminded her how to love again. And if you ever find yourself on a rainy day in Paris, near the corner of Rue de la Vieille Lanterne, you might hear a faint tune carried by the wind, an old piano whispering a love story that never truly ended. Where the wildflowers bloom. In a quiet village nestled between emerald hills and winding streams, lived a young woman named Alara. She was a schoolteacher with a gentle heart, the kind of person who knew every child's name, every old woman's favorite tea, and every melody the wind carried through the trees. Alara loved wildflowers. Every Sunday, she wandered through the meadows just beyond the village, where colors bloomed like music on a canvas of green. She collected them carefully, not to keep, but to place in glass jars on windowsills around the school. Beauty should be shared, she always said with a smile. One day in late spring, as the sun poured like gold through the clouds, Alara saw someone new sitting under the ancient willow by the stream. He was sketching in a weathered notebook, completely lost in the rhythm of pencil on paper. He looked up, and their eyes met. His name was Selim, a traveler from the city who had come seeking peace after the passing of his father. He was an artist, quiet and thoughtful, with eyes that held the color of storms and calm after rain. They spoke briefly that day, about the wind, the light, and the way the stream hummed like a lullaby. Then they parted with a gentle nod, as strangers often do. But they met again the following Sunday, and again after that. Alara brought a small bundle of wildflowers, Selim brought a new drawing. With each meeting, their silences grew softer, their words warmer. She told him about the children she taught. He told her about the cities he had sketched and the silence he carried in his heart. Summer passed like a dream. They spent sunlit afternoons by the river, sharing stories, music, and the quiet wonder of two souls slowly recognizing one another. He sketched her among the wildflowers, her laughter captured forever in charcoal and light. She read him poetry beneath the stars, her voice wrapping around the night like silk. But autumn brought change. Selim's mother had written, asking him to return and help with the family gallery. It was his duty, and he felt it deeply. "I have to go," he told her one windy morning, the leaves swirling like fire around their feet. Alara looked at him with sadness, but no anger. "Then go," she whispered. "But come back, not just to this village, but to me. If your heart still finds me in the quiet, then let it lead you home." Selim promised nothing. He kissed her softly beneath the willow and left with the wind. Seasons turned. Letters came, slow and sometimes late, filled with sketches and small, simple words. Alara waited, not desperately, but with patience, like the earth waits for spring. One morning, 2 years later, the children were playing in the field when they cried out in delight. A man was walking up the path, wildflowers in one hand, a sketchbook in the other. Alara stepped outside and froze. Selim stood there, older but unchanged in the way that mattered. I came back, he said. Not because I was done with the world, but because it felt empty without you in it. She said nothing, only reached for his hand. And beneath the old willow where it all began, where the wildflowers still bloomed, their love took root again, quiet, deep, and enduring. It grew with every shared sunrise, every whispered night, every small act of devotion. Because sometimes, the most beautiful stories aren't rushed. They are written slowly, in seasons, and sealed with the promise of returning.